Just talking musicals with you.
Hello, I'm Lesley Ann Knight and welcome to Just Talking Musicals and to the third part of our behind-the-scenes peek at the Cole Porter musical, Anything Goes. In the last episode, we looked at how the show had literally come together at the very last minute with its writers, Howard Lindsay and Russell Krause, allegedly only coming up with the final scene when they were on the train to Boston on November the 5th for the opening night of the tryout. So, what kind of storyline did they finally come up with? Anything Goes is set on board a luxury ocean liner sailing from New York to Southampton, and it follows the escapades of various individuals whose lives all become interlinked, partly due to the fact that they're all travelling together at sea. First up, there's Billy Crocker, a playboy who is stowed away on board ship in pursuit of the girl he loves, Hope Harcourt. She is travelling with her social climbing mother, Evangeline, who is determined to marry her daughter off to one of their fellow passengers, an Englishman, and seemingly perfect catch complete with the title, Lord Evelyn Oakley. Meanwhile, Billy's friend Reno Sweeney, a sometime evangelist who, having given up singing in the choir to become a nightclub singer, is travelling to England in search of work, complete with her band of backing singing angels. Enter small-time gangster Moonface Martin, travelling in disguise as a clergyman, Dr. Reverend Moon. He's in fact on the run from the FBI, with his machine gun neatly stashed away in his violin case. And while we're at it, Moonface Martin is better known to the authorities as Public Enemy number 13. As for the plot, it centres around Billy winning Hope's hand, Reno falling for the English lord, the gangster getting caught up in all the trials that fall in between and proving he's not such a baddie after all. So Anything Goes is really just a frothy, uplifting farce. But it's up to the minute, complete with a glamorous evangelist, a gangster on the run, and a light-hearted story about friendship and love, with a good old happy ending. It was, quite frankly, just the tonic the public needed in those dark, depression-filled days of 1934. And laced throughout as it is with glorious songs by Cole Porter, it bounced along with every uplifting, energising phrase they sang. The very next morning after it opened on Broadway at the Alvin Theatre on the 22nd of November 1934, the much-esteemed theatre critic Brooks Atkinson of the New York Times wrote, "By keeping their sense of humour uppermost, they have made a thundering good musical show out of Anything Goes, which was put on at the Alvin last evening." He called Porter, Lindsay and Krause supermen, and the show hilarious and dynamic entertainment, adding, when a show is off the top shelf of the pantry cupboard, it is hard to remember that the comics have not written all those jokes and the singers have not composed all those exultant tunes. If Ethel Merman did not write I Get a Kick Out of You, and also the title song of the show, she has made them hers now by the swinging gusto of her platform style. Whatever it was about Ethel Merman, she and Cole Porter seemed to hit it off right from the start. Anything Goes was a major leading role, and it made her one of the most celebrated leading ladies at the Broadway musical stage for many years to follow, with roles built around her persona, and she eventually went on to star in no less than 5 Cole Porter musicals over the course of her career. In short, Anything Goes was a critical and financial hit, running for 420 performances in time, thoroughly proving its worth by becoming the 4th longest running musical of the decade. Cole Porter's score was described as one of the finest in American musical history, and the storyline, put together in a last-minute whirl of panic, was hailed the perfect farce. 2 months later, on New Year's Eve 1934, the White House requested that songs from Anything Goes be included in the party music that night to usher in 1935, with the New Year edition of Variety magazine running an article that hailed it Cole Porter Year. Almost every platter, chatter and radio gives out something by Porter. A smash hit meant that the show would travel, and so it was that Anything Goes really did get to cross the Atlantic, along with its composer Cole Porter, and it opened in London at the Palace Theatre on Shaftesbury Avenue on June the 14th, 1935, and was hailed the most fashionable first night of the season. Also, canny theatre manager and producer C.B. Cochrane went to the trouble of obtaining a legal injunction prohibiting performances of any of the songs before opening night, thereby heightening the anticipation and excitement of this bright new glamorous show coming to London, fresh from New York. The London production starred Jack Whiting as Billy, Jean Aubert as Reno, Sidney Howard as Moonface, and Adele Dixon as Hope, and it ran for 261 performances. In 1936, Hollywood and Paramount Pictures took this successful stage show and made it into a film starring Bing Crosby and Ethel Merman. But there's one very obvious difference in that the storyline has been completely changed, as have the names of some of the characters. Thankfully though, it's still set on a luxury ocean liner and Reno Sweeney is still who we think she is. Perhaps these changes were partly due to the fact that Cole Porter often recycled songs from show to show. But in the 1936 film, the producers not only introduced songs by different composers, they also changed the name of some of the characters. Bing Crosby's wife Dixie Lee was also first cast to play Reno, with Ethel Merman only being brought in on the project when Dixie Lee dropped out amid stories that Crosby tried to hog all the limelight and take the attention away from his leading lady. One thing was certain, this film unfortunately wasn't the happy experience Merman had hoped it would be. And although it's a fun film to watch, it's a far cry from the stage show, with not even a chorus of the song Anything Goes to be heard. But at least it's an opportunity to see Ethel Merman in her youth in fine form, the girl who took Broadway by storm, and by all accounts was almost as loud as one. Right, that's it for today. Next time, we'll be taking a look at revivals of the show from down through the years, with an eye not just on how it's fared on both sides of the Atlantic, but how it's miraculously kept audiences smiling and coming back for more some 85 years on since it first tentatively opened at the Alvin in 1934. I'm Lesley Ann Knight. Behind the camera is the wonder that is the show's producer and director, Katie Ridout.
Hello.
You can find Just Talking Musicals on Facebook, and we're lurking on Twitter as well under the name of @KnightandRidout. Oh, and don't forget, click the subscribe button for each new episode alert so you can bag the best front row seats for each new show. See you here again very soon for another instalment of Just Talking Musicals.
Just talking musicals, musicals with you.
Bing Crosby's wife, Dixie Lee, was also first class to pay. Can't remember the line now. Bing. Oh, wait a minute. Shut up. Oh, no! Bing Crosby's first wife, Dixie Lee.